All right, everybody scared of spiders, sit on down. This is the best and worst of Sting. Has anyone seen the movie Arachnophobia from 1990 with Jeff Daniels and John Goodman? It's a little bit of a classic right there. That's probably the last spider horror movie that I can remember. But anyways, back to Sting. So the plot of Sting goes a little something like this. So after raising an alien spider in secret, 12-year-old Charlotte must face the facts about her pet and fight for her family's survival when the once charming creature rapidly transforms into a giant flesh-eating monster. So this movie is written and directed by Kia Roche Turner. Sorry if I butchered that, but that's the first film that they've directed that's actually supposed to be set in the United States and not their native Australia. Also, a little fun fact about this movie. So Charlotte names the spider Sting after seeing a copy of Tolkien's book, The Hobbit. Sting is actually not the name of a spider in The Hobbit, but it's actually the name of Bilbo's sword, which he uses to kill spiders. So that's how she comes up with the name Sting in the movie, if you were wondering why they cut to the book right there. But anyways, let's get into it. Let's get into the best and worst of Sting right now. So best location in the movie. Let's start off with that. So to me, it's got to be the boiler room in the movie, specifically the boiler room towards the end of the movie. It really gives off some Nostromo vibes from Alien, for sure, for me. I'm assuming that's kind of what they were going for there. It definitely felt like that. It kind of looked like that. It got gritty towards the end. It had some cool lighting and stuff. Don't ask me why a boiler room would have lighting like that down there, but regardless, for a movie, it looked pretty damn cool. And for me, that was the best location in the movie and kind of had it was a good setting for the end of the movie too. I enjoyed that. But worst location in the movie for me has to be Grandma's place. You know, it's the grandma with dementia. It's her apartment because, that place has got to just smell like dried lavender and like an old roast. You know what I mean? You know, when you walk in there, that smell is just slapping you across the face. So, yep. The old grandma with dementia, her apartment, worst location in Sting for me. Best character is up next. So best character in the movie for me has got to be Charlotte. I actually almost went with Frank for this one, but towards the end of the movie, Frank kind of flubbed it. He kind of dropped the ball a little bit. Like, he could have been that guy who was hilarious in the movie, was like just a good character in the movie, and then ends up saving the day at the end to a certain extent. But, he does give us a nice, solid little kill, though, when he gets killed. But he had his chance to save the day, but just ends up kind of just being the guy who just kind of comes across at the end as more of like a selfish piece of shit. You know what I mean? But it's got to be Charlotte, the little girl, the 12-year-old. She gives off some like Macaulay Culkin Home Alone vibes there towards the end, and kind of a throwback to the 80s and the 90s when they would have kids kind of do a lot of makeshift weaponry and come up with ways to kind of trap and kill the monsters in movies like Silver Bullet and stuff like that. I'm assuming some of those movies were probably inspiration for this. But yeah, Charlotte was just like, not only is the actress really good as a young actress, especially looking forward to hopefully seeing her in some more stuff. But yeah, her character was just somebody you rooted for. She clearly has had like kind of a rough upbringing. And just ends up being a badass who saves the day at the end of the movie, has some ingenuitive ways to kill the spider at the end and at least help kind of overcome everything, is smart, is likable, is tough, and just, even when her parents are being dumbasses, she just takes it over. So best character, Charlotte, for me in the movie, for sure. Worst character in Sting for me is going to be the mom, Heather. I just didn't like her character. I know she's going through a lot of stuff. She just had a kid. Postpartum is no joke for sure. And I know there's just a lot going on, of course, right? But still, I just felt like she, wasn't really that empathetic or as empathetic as she should have been towards the dad in the movie, the guy in the movie, her love interest, whatever you want to call him. I know she's working, she's balancing the kid and all the other stresses, and she had some drama with the other guy, the other dad and stuff like that, and she's still dealing with that and dealing with trust issues and whatnot. But, I thought the actress did a really good job in that role. It has nothing to do with that. It's just the way the character was written. I thought she was my least favorite character in the movie. just kind of unlikable all around. Doesn't really have any redeeming moments. She doesn't really contribute to overcoming the spiders at the end. She doesn't really do anything that makes her really likable throughout the story, just in general. Yeah, my least favorite character personally in the movie in Sting was the mom, Heather, for me. So, but yeah, so best line in Sting. For me, I mean, how could it not be Frank, right? The exterminator, Frank. I mean, he had some good lines in the movie, but specifically when Frank says, when the bird gets killed and then Frank shows up, I guess you call an exterminator when your bird gets brutally murdered in some sort of a way. I guess they thought it was rats or something, but Frank shows up and he says, "That's one fucked up bird. Looks like it tried to have sex with a blender." That was a pretty funny line, but he's got a couple of pretty funny lines, but he's a good character in the movie and gives us some good lines. All right, worst line in Sting has got to be the dad or the apartment maintenance guy, whatever you want to call him, dad, stepdad, whatever, when he says, "We are not having a venomous arachnid in this home." And it's also a weird line for a guy who like does maintenance on an apartment. It's like a very way too formal line that real humans don't really say. "We are not having a venomous arachnid in this home." It just doesn't fit the character too well. It's kind of a weird line and just doesn't feel that organic or natural, So worst line in the movie for me was that one. But not to say like people who do maintenance on apartments are not smart or intellectual or anything like that, but just for his character and just for like a human in general, it just seemed like a weird line to be so, I don't know, proper and formal in that type of a setting. Just weird. But anyways, next thing is going to be best scare in Sting, which is, for me, it's got to be the whole sequence with the neighbor, Maria. We don't get a ton of backstory on this character, but it seems like either her whole family died or just her son died. But that neighbor, Maria, when she's alone and the spider's on the back of the picture, when she picks it up, we get that, which is creepy, especially if you don't like spiders. You're just like, this is one of the moments for sure where you're like, oh, geez, I can't even look. And then it jumps, and then she got the whole sequence where she's in the bathroom, and then she falls back and hits her head on the bathtub, which is brutal. It's got some good CGI and some good practical effects in that. But it's just like a scary, creepy moment. And like I said, it's one of the moments in particular in the movie where if you hate spiders or you have some arachnophobia, that you're going to just get squeamish and kind of just your skin's going to crawl for sure. But that was the best scare in the movie for me. Not only it's got some good jump scares and just a creepy moment with a good solid kill overall. Also, a good little jump scare was probably predictable for a lot of you, but when they kind of slowly pan in on the fish tank with the spider, now the spider's like really damn big, and then the glass breaks for a second. That was like a pretty good jump scare for me. So that was a nice little scare. But yep, best scare for me. Don't really have a worse scare, but best kill, just to piggyback off of that, has got to be Maria's death. I think there could have been some other deaths that could have been a little bit better. They should have cranked those up just a notch, but the best kill for me in the movie was Maria's for sure, which was also the best scare, but just a good kill. I mean, the spider crawls into her mouth, which is disgusting and brutal. Like I said, she falls back and hits the bathtub, super bloody. The venom's already going through her. She's got the spider bite in her face, so that's looking gnarly, with some damn good practical effects and a little CGI in there with the kill as well, but really bloody kill. And then the spider crawls into her mouth and then down her throat, and then you can see it in her stomach, and then the spider cuts its way out of her stomach. It's a bloody kill. Definitely the best kill of the movie. There's a couple good kills also, but they weren't that great compared to this one. To me, this was like the showcase kill of the movie, that they put the most effort and was just supposed to be the kill of the movie that was supposed to be shown off the most. So that was the best kill, was that Maria girl's death. So yeah. For me, the worst kill in the movie was the slumlord lady, the lady with way too much eyeshadow. I only vaguely remember her kill. It felt like it could have been a lot better. It was just quick and nothing really happened, for a character like that who is clearly supposed to be the villain other than the spider. Could have gone out in a more, like epic way. They should have like really killed her ass. That would have been really satisfying. But, but yeah. And like Frank's death was decent too, but that was also a little bit of a letdown. It was a little dark. I tried to see exactly what it looked like. His head got like chopped off or eaten off or something. It was bloody as hell, but not the best kill. But yeah, slumlord lady with too much eyeshadow. That was the worst kill of Sting for me. Best moment of Sting for me is really everything following when Charlotte finds out that her family's gone, especially when her I think his little brother or little sister was gone as well. She's just like, okay, here we go. And then she starts to think about, okay, mothballs. It hated mothballs. It hated the smell of it. When it touched it, it did crazy shit to its web and everything like that. All right, mothballs. Let's start making cool stuff. Let's start making our little squirt gun with the flashlight. Let's get into vents like an Alien, another little, like probably a little cap tip to Aliens there. So that was cool. And she's just a good character, like I already mentioned before. And it just has a lot of epic moments with some like nastiness to it with the slime and the webs, and then it caps off at the end killing the spider. Yeah, it was a little predictable with the garbage chute and the garbage compactor and stuff. You could kind of predict that, but still, I thought everything just following when Charlotte finds out their family was taken. This giant ice storm is happening outside, so phones are down, can't really call for help, can't really go outside, and she just handles shit. And it was just a good moment in the movie for me. For me, the worst moment of the movie is going to be a little bit of a nitpick for me, but I would probably say it's the very, very end of the movie when the egg opens up. I know we've already had a lot of things that are clearly inspired by Alien and Aliens, but showing the egg open up like that, like, come on, guys, let's, it's okay to have a little homage or whatnot, but let's not make it too obvious what we're ripping off here. You know what I mean? Like, come up with something a little bit more unique. But yeah, leaving open the possibility for a sequel or just keeping things ambiguous is always fun. But still, the opening of the egg, that whole sequence, probably the worst moment of the movie for me, but a little bit of a nitpick, I know. But anyways, yeah, Sting was kind of interesting for me. I guess this is kind of my review of it. It was something I went into the movie not having high expectations for, but there is potential there because it's a fear that a lot of us have. I mean, I don't have arachnophobia, but I definitely don't like spiders. I'm not going to like bathe myself in spiders for pleasure, right? But they're nasty. I don't want them crawling all over me or anything like that. So I went into the movie saying, okay, the source material is there to make something fun or something unique or at least something brutal. And early on, I could tell that the story was going to be pretty contained, which I was a little bit like sort of disappointed with, but I was like, all right, we could do something here with it. But I actually thought the director and the cinematographer and the other people just on the production, I thought they did a really good job with the limited kind of script and the limited budget that they had here. I thought the movie looked really good. I thought I was pretty engaged with moments that were not really, there wasn't a lot going on, but I was like, they're kind of, just with the way it looks and the way it's shot and the way the characters are kind of going about the scene, it's kind of still keeping me engaged. And I thought it was interesting. I'd like to see this director do more stuff. I'm definitely interested to see them have kind of like a higher budget film, something with a little bit more to it. But the movie was okay. It was not great. Now, I like when they build characters and backstories and they make you care about the characters who are going to get killed and the characters who are going to survive and the characters you're going to root for, right? I like when they build that backstory, but I thought in this movie, they did that a little bit too much. I thought we spent a little bit too much time in this movie focusing on like the drama and the family aspect and, the artwork and mom's work and the little baby. And I thought we spent a little bit too much time with just everything going on at home and not enough time with like the spider doing brutal shit and scary stuff. I thought we should have had a little bit more of that. I also think, I mean, I know it's probably a budget thing. It would have been a little bit better if we had some more room to work for this Spider 2. It was very contained in this kind of boring apartment complex that didn't have a lot going for it. But it's relatable to a lot of us if you've lived in apartments. I've never lived in New York. I think this takes place in Brooklyn, but still, you know, it's relatable to a lot of us who have kind of been in that situation. But overall, it was an okay movie. Nothing great. You know, if they come out with another one, I'm not really that excited for it. But overall, I still think the production did a pretty damn good job with what they had. So, but anyways, everybody, thanks for watching the best and worst of Sting. If you enjoy horror content, then make sure you subscribe. There's plenty of that around here. My name is Matt, and I will talk to you all on the next one.